the last view that we're going to do is a building section rather than the wall sections. And so I'm going to, I've already drawn a building section here. I don't know if you have. I think during the process, I recommended you draw a building section to look at something. Um, but so building sections, if we go into section, building section, and then select building section, and then boom, boom, and now we have a building section through our building, a building section through our building. And so this is a wall section right here that's being, that's, but you know, it looks something like this. So I'm just going to close that, and I don't really need it. I'm going to go to the building section that I created right down here that I had opened just a second ago. So I'm going to delete that. And then let's go into this building section here. And so I've got the building section partially completed. Uh, I've got to make sure I got the clipping out to the range that I want it to be. Um, these should be all at the same length. You know, whether you want to keep the grid in there or not, once again, that might be based on what it is you're communicating. Um, I think it works for this particular building section, but if I didn't want my focus to be on structure, I probably wouldn't keep those in there because they do focus on the grid. Um, you know, fix your labels over here on your levels. I had to offset all of these so that they would fit. You know, go ahead and set this to an eighth of an inch scale. Um, and then make the size. We can turn off the crop line here by do not crop view. Wait, no, uh, by turning off the light. So we want to crop the view. We don't want this wall. Of course, you don't have it. So I'm going to hide all those elements. The other thing is there's not much contrast because of the section. If I go back to, let's go back to the floor plan here. If I go back to the section and we look at the section, it goes all the way past the end wall. And so when we're looking at this section, we're seeing uh, the end wall there as well as the foundation wall. So I'm going to pull the clipping plane back and show you how that impacts it. So if we go back in here into that section, uh, into my building section, notice now this is all white. And the reason is because that clipping plane is clipping off the back wall here and the back of the stem wall. And I think it reads a lot better, you know, with those walls not there. So I'm going to leave it like this. We're just interested in the spatial relationships in a building section. Later, we'll get into wall sections and the details of those. Uh, you know, I'd come in here since this is about structure. I would label a few things. I'm going to go offline, and well, I'll label one here before I go offline. And then, so this is a 2x6 ceiling joist. So I'm going to 2x6 ceiling joist, and so I'll have to fix that again. Okay, so 2x6 ceiling joist, and then I would label this 2x6 rafters, uh, and then 2x6 joist floor. Uh, so I'm going to go offline and do that real quick, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I labeled a few things that you should label and put a few leaders in there. Forgot that leader there. Um, but go ahead and label these elements. We could label some other structural elements such as the stem wall and all that, but that's pretty much covered in the foundations and foundation plans. This will give them an idea and give me an idea, what is there and what isn't there. A couple just visual rules that you might be interested in. First is that notice I call these are joists. Okay, this is called it could be a floor joist. Let's add floor in there because these are ceiling joists, right? Because they're what hold up the ceiling. And then if the same 2x6, all these are the same 2x6, identical same 2x6. It's just they're used in different locations. And so when that 2x6 is used in the roof framing, then it's called a rafter. And so roof is a rafter, ceiling joist is a joist, the floor is a joist. And then the same 2x6, it's been doubled here. That's the reason I put the 2 in there and doubled together to create a beam, okay, which is carrying that all the load from the joist down to the piers, and then of course to the isolated footings. So uh, the same component, the same wood component, but uh, that wood component changes names based on where it's used and what structurally it's used as. For some reason, I can't get this to lock in here. There we go. Okay. So my wall section's done. I'm going to zoom in. Okay. So the final thing I want you to do now is capture the whole Revit screen for each one of the 7 uh, drawings that you created. So you created a framing plan, a floor framing plan, a foundation plan, a floor plan, uh, and then a building, 2 building axons, right? And let's just visually look at them real quick. So the foundation plan here, right? The floor framing plan, okay, showing the framing members, uh, the actual floor plan, okay, just showing the structural walls there. And then a couple of axons, a building axon, and oh, a framing axon, and then the building section. Okay, actually it's only 6 views in it. I think it's only 6. But anyway, so set those views up, uh, capture them. I'm going to go in, I'm in Windows, so I'm going to go into snipping tool real quick. Snipping tool. Uh, and I'm going to snip everything from here to here. Okay, we want to see not just the view, but we want to see it in the context of Revit. And then I can just print that out if I'm connected to a printer, I could just print it out directly to a printer. If not, then I can save it as a JPEG and then open it up and print it out through whatever software uh, that you have that will allow you to print it. Also, make sure you print it on in a, a landscape rather than a portrait so that you use the whole sheet of the paper. And then put your name, date, uh, section of discussion, course, and of course the assignment number A02. And turn it in and you're finished. Thank you.